So in today's video, I want to show you two systems that you can use to build a $7-figure, million-dollar enterprise. These are the same two systems that I've used, and I've worked with so many clients and students who have used these same two systems as well. Those systems are, number one, QuickBooks, number two, Monday.com. Those are two systems or platforms that you can use to build a seven-figure. I'm talking about a real million-dollar enterprise. I've done it. I've got a lot of students who have used these systems and they're building seven-figure enterprises, so I know it actually works. Now, since you have those two, if you're staying on the video, I want to share with you why I say these two systems can work to assist you in becoming a seven-figure, million-dollar enterprise. First of all, let me begin by saying a system is a platform that houses information. It houses data, okay? So these two would be considered systems that house data. So when you have a system or a platform or a piece of technology that you're using for your business, they have to be used to house certain information. But you have to know what information needs to be housed. What data do you need to actually put in these platforms? Well, you should be putting data or information in those platforms based on metrics that you are measuring. This is where your processes come in at. But I don't want to get too deep into the weeds and the woods of the processes, but just to make it make sense, when you have systems, which are platforms that house information, and when those systems have processes connected to them, that means those systems have steps that measure the results. So when there's certain things that I do in a certain area of my business, I do those things and I measure those things to see what is giving me the results that I need. Once I identify with what gives me the results, I can take that data, house it in my system so that I can continue to duplicate what I just documented, and then I'm able to show other people how to continue to do what was done. Does that make sense? Okay, if it doesn't, just go back and rewatch the first few minutes of the video. So these are systems. Now, what information do I need to house? Well, I always encourage my clients and students to break their business up into 5 departments, 5 areas that would represent 5 major roles. So we have the first area of finance, second area of sales, third area of marketing, the fourth area could be operations or administration, and then the fifth area would be the executive suite, all right? Now, each of these 5 areas represent a high level or chief officer. Here, the finance department represents the CFO or chief finance officer. The sales department represents the CSO or chief sales officer. Some companies refer to them as VP of sales. The third department of marketing represents the CMO or chief marketing officer. And again, there may be different names and designations that people use. I just want to simplify it for you. The operations admin department represents the COO or the chief operations officer. And then the executive department represents the CEO or the chief executive officer. So when you break your business up into these 5 areas, especially when you are the solopreneur, this is exactly how I started my business, all right? As a solopreneur, now you have to separate these areas to be clear on where should your main focus be every day. This is one of the disadvantages that solopreneurs and small entrepreneurs have who don't have big teams and resources, because what happens is they wake up every day and they're just trying to figure out, what should I focus on? And instead of, let's say, focusing on sales to start making money, they're focusing on operations and admin. They're on Fiverr.com trying to get their letterhead correct, and they're website fixed, when that's not generating revenue. Maybe they're in the finance department trying to get their books together when they ain't got no money to get their books together. So it's very important for you to separate these. And again, once these are separated, now you can start engaging in certain activity, whether it's you and a VA, virtual assistant, you and a PA, personal assistant, or you and an entire team. Well, guess what? As you bring people into your team, these people are going to need roles. They're going to have to know what their responsibilities are and what exactly you want them to do. Where are those responsibilities and the details of their roles coming from? Well, of course, they can come from just templates that you've pulled from online, or they're going to come from certain activities that you have participated in that you've measured the results for. So in the finance, you've measured certain results. In the sales, marketing, admin, operations, and in your executive suite, there's certain tasks that you perform, certain activities that you conducted, and you're documenting each activity, each task, and you're determining what is producing results and what isn't producing results. And as you gather that data, you need to house it somewhere. This is how your systems impact the success of your business. Now, back to why I said these two would be sufficient for a small business. And here's why. Well, finance, you're going to have QuickBooks. So that covers one. Now, some people will have a separate CRM. I did that. There was a time I had a separate CRM. I've used Salesforce. I've used Freshworks, and there are a couple other platforms that I've used just for CRM. Most of them were sales. Some of them were sales and marketing. And then I had separate systems for my admin, my operations, and my own personal executive suite. But once I started bringing team members on, I realized that the technology was complicated to me. It was definitely too complicated for everybody else. And so that's when I converted over to Monday.com. And even though it's not the best CRM, meaning that it doesn't have the best CRM feature, but it's good enough that you can actually have a sales CRM board inside of here. You can have a marketing board to pull data from your social media and your marketing campaigns to drop it in there. It's good enough for you to have your operational, administrative tasks built out so that you can track what needs to be tracked. And it's good enough for you to have your own executive suite. So if you do have a VA or a personal assistant that is connecting you with appointments and keeping your calendar and your schedule clear, you can actually cover all 4 of these departments with Monday.com. Again, you click the links in the video, you'll see a link to QuickBooks, you'll see a link to Monday.com. I am an ambassador, which means if you click the link and you purchase their products, we're gonna get a commission. I mean, it's probably a couple dollars for each subscription, but I'm just saying, I want you to get to 7 figures. And if you can get there with less headache, with less stress, with less systems and processes that's just confusing you, I want you to do it. And I've been able to do it with my enterprise, and I believe you can do it with yours. Of course, if you have any questions or if you need any information, don't hesitate to reach out to me and my team. We're always available because we want to help you properly start, properly structure, so that at some point you can properly scale your business to the next level.